GoThunderWolves.com. We're here with head coach Matt Morris. Coach, it's been a pretty good season for you guys so far. You guys are at Mines at Western before the break, and then you guys come back with the UNM meets. Can you just talk about that first two meets and this last UNM meet for us?
Yeah, and it was nice to have those first two meets this year because obviously, given all of the situation in the last couple of years, we didn't have any last fall, and we didn't have cross country, and so then it was a whole fall, as much training as we could do, and then no races and that kind of thing. So, we had a lot more of a normative fall where we, the kids got some good work in and that kind of thing, and then we get a chance to kind of taper in that first cycle and go to those two first meets. So, the kids worked hard all fall, and they did a great job, and we have some veteran athletes coming back, and who kind of know the drill, and so we were able to, lack of a better term, check the box on some things and get some people qualified right away. We have some new athletes that are very good as well. So I thought we had two really good efforts, and we were excited to get to that work in before we went to break, and then they can kind of take a little time off.
Yeah.
So
moving on, we'll just talk about them individually now as a group. So we'll start with your throwers, since that's kind of the main focus of you guys. On the men's side, you have Nate and Justin, who kind of just seem to dominate, and then you have Jenna. She's coming back from an injury, so she's kind of getting the dust off.
Yeah.
And you have some others kind of showing their face for the women's side. What are your thoughts on the throwers group?
Yeah, the throws group is really, and we kind of made this decision 3-4 years ago, and that that was not an event area that we had really focused on, but we thought we had a lot of potential there with already some of the student athletes we had, and then some student athletes we had coming in. So we were really excited to get Scott. He's done a phenomenal job. I mean, just outstanding job. And all of those guys have really progressed significantly. So now that's, like you said, on our guys' side for sure is kind of the engine of our team. Nate and Justin are both ranked 1-2 in the nation, and I think Justin's going to give himself a chance here to be, qualified in the weight throw as well. And on the women's side, Jenna and Catherine are both in the top 10. And Jenna looked great coming back for her first meet. Catherine's just progressing so quickly, and we have some other people as well. Heather, Liv are throwing really well. So yeah, it's been a real focus for us, and they've done a great job. And it's nice to have that stability, and that consistency in that group. And so it's been a huge part of our team for sure.
Yeah. And moving forward, we'll talk a little about that mid distance you guys have going on. You have Yasmin and Haley. They kind of seem to dominate in the 800. It was the 600 actually down at UNM, but they dominate the mid distance. Then you have just a group of guys in the 800. And I don't know if you run them in the mile and stuff like that, but what are your thoughts on that in the mid distance?
Yeah, and that's always been our strength for sure. Historically, and obviously this program's we restarted it as recently, so it's but just since we've restarted the program, that's been a strong point for us. Going back to Derek and Thomas and Devundrick and Sid and those guys, and so I think this is a great place to train. We were very good altitude and weathering those things for those middle distance kind of races. So we kind of focused on that. And, those guys are young, we have some younger guys and some older guys. Nate's obviously returning and was fourth in the nation last year, and we got some good young guys. And, and obviously Yaz and Haley are veterans. They've been All-Americans since their sophomore years, their second years, and this is their fifth year. So, they really know what's going on. And again, especially indoors, that allows us to have a lot of range. And you see they're both in the top 5 and top 3 or 4, honestly, in the 800. In the mile, and then we'll run a DMR next weekend, and then the same thing. So it allows you to have a lot of range, and those guys are both on our 4x4 as well. So we try to find those athletes that have that kind of range that can run anywhere from the 4x4 to cross country and be really, really productive. So, but it's nice. Really, our goal, we have Carl on the hurdles, Julie in the 200 and 400, Ty in the sprints. We have some other people, Nigel, other people as well. That we're really trying to be balanced. It's really our goal is to try to be productive in all the event areas. But historically, it's been that middle distance, and then recently it's been the throws. So it's, at the end of the day, I always tell people 10 points is 10 points, whatever event you're in. So we're just trying to get the best athletes we can and get them in here, and they do a great job of buying in and working hard. And, wherever that puts us, that's where we're going,
Yeah. And I know you mentioned this to me before. especially in the conference, it's not as strong for you guys because you don't have the numbers. But then nationally, you guys come in. Nationally, you guys have a lot of people ranked in the top. So that is the goal, kind of nationals, and you kind of just. I hate to say it like this, but put conference off to the side, but is that kind of like how you guys look at it?
Yeah, I mean, I think you have to have success where you can have it, you know what I'm saying? And we, for whatever reason, have never really been built to be that successful at the conference level. And so it's not our focus. Obviously, you know, we'd love to be successful. We'd love to win conference every time. Our conference is very, very competitive. Yep. And so, but if we have to make a decision if we want to finish high at the conference meet or the national meet, we're going to choose the national meet. And so we tend to not spread ourselves super thin. You know, and other programs choose, you know, other directions or whatever. But, you know, I think that's always been our focus. And so, but I think inevitably we'd like to be good at both of those levels. And I think we're getting better at the conference level.
Yeah.
And we're excited to hopefully keep getting better at the national level as well.
Yeah. And the regional polls and national polls, they just came out, and I don't know if you saw the women, they came in at 5th. That's their highest rank they've ever achieved. And then the men, they're at 9th. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, it's a great honor to be ranked that high. And in track and field, it's a little more systematic in that they're, you know, kind of looking where people are ranked and their numbers and those kind of things. So it's usually fairly reflective, but we know that the rankings aren't the national meet, right? And so we have a lot of work to do. Yeah. So it's good to be recognized for the, you know, for the student athletes' hard work and what our potential is. But, you know, at the end of the day, we go on the season and they throw all that out and you actually go run the races and throw and jump and those things. So, you know, we're really focused on trying to maximize our ability to compete at that level, come together as a group and really figure out what's our best strategy going into those conference and national meets to score the most points we can. And you know, it's early. That's the other thing too, it's early. It's the first poll. And so there's some teams that probably haven't competed, some athletes, some events. And so we'll have a better picture as we get closer to the end of February. Yeah. But you always like to come out, start well and you know, get some good marks early. And so I think we've done what we've asked our student athletes to do, and that's a reflection of what they've done. So it's, you know, it's a good honor. Yeah. But we also know that at the end of the day, they're not going to vote us, you know, vote us at national. So we got to keep working hard. Yep, exactly.
Gotcha. So moving on, we'll just talk a little bit about the UNM meet coming up.
Yeah.
What are some things we can expect from you guys?
Yeah, so we have some, you know, some athletes that didn't compete last weekend that are kind of their first time back from the break. So we're really just trying to, I mean, it's only the second meet back, so we're really just trying to get back in the mode of competing, that weekend travel. And you can see, you know, we've had some great training the last 2 or 3 weeks. The meets are different though. We come back and we're a little more tired and, you know, we have to take care of ourselves a little bit more, but to get our bodies ready for that and our you know, our minds ready for those kind of things, and really be ready to be as good as we can be at the end of February and the middle of March. So really not any expectations as far as, you know, trying to hit any marks or do anything special. We're just trying to figure out who we are as a group and that kind of thing and compete better than we did last weekend. And honestly, I thought last weekend was probably our best opener after the break we've had since I've been here. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I was really happy because a lot of times we're usually rustier than that, right? And it's kind of like, you know, it's a long time to be gone from each other. But they fell right back into rhythm and everybody looked good. And, you know, Jenna came out with a great mark early. And so we're really just trying to build on that. And then as we get closer, you know, we'll have a chance to run some qualifying stuff next week. And then obviously a couple weeks from now, we'll go to Pitt State. And that'll be a big one. That's where we're going to have to get on that nationals venue and really get going. So we're just making sure that we're, you know, one foot in front of the other and moving in the right direction at this point. You know, and if some big marks happen, great. But we're not really pushing for that right now.
Cool. Well, good luck the rest of the way, and we'll catch you again right before the RMAC meet, and we'll catch you again before the Nationals meet, and then we'll go from there. We have a long season. So
yeah, we do.
We'll catch you guys.
Appreciate it, Justin. Thank you.